Most investors are typically lost when it comes to taking a booking directly without the use of Airbnb. That's right, we've been spoiled. Airbnb's been taking this huge load off of our hands by offering a seamless platform where they handle the payment, they handle the booking. But what happens when I need to take a booking after someone's walked my property? Where am I sending them to? Do I get a check? How do I even charge this family? Not to worry at all. One of the things that you want to think about is you can use your own payment processor by going either through your bank and having them provide one, or there is a well-known industry wide named Stripe. Stripe is very easy to use. You can set up tie your EIN to it, your business, as you should. Set up Stripe, you'll be able to start to charge clients directly. Keep in mind that Stripe has a 3% processing fee. Again, I am not by any means a Stripe expert, so if they do change their terms and conditions over time, make sure you review that with respect to where you are, especially with taxes as well. There's a great resource for taxes called Avalara. I'll put it on here. Avalara, avalara.com. Have a look at it. Speak to your accountant on how you want to add taxes to your booking. That's more of a CPA related question, but Avalara does a good job. I'll give you an example. In our state that we're in Georgia, anything under 90 days has tax. Anything outside of 90 days is considered more long-term and does not have. But again, I'm not your accountant and things might change, so make sure you do your due diligence. If you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video. Once you've gotten over that, want to make sure you use a payment processor. Keep in mind we're even exploring using one from our own bank because again, you build that relationship that way and it's great. There's things like Chase banks and stuff, they have payment processors, etc. But another great one that we all know that a lot of people use is Stripe, that we use as well. And keep in mind, Stripe has the 3%, but another thing to keep in mind is Stripe has great integrations with a lot of sites. So some websites will have an integration with Stripe, which means that when you create your website, if you want someone to book directly, you can integrate your Stripe account so that when they click that purchase button, it will then send a payment directly to Stripe. Keep in mind, we do not let anyone, at least the way we do our business, I'm not telling you how you should do your business, I'm telling you about how we do our business. We do not let anyone book direct without having a conversation with them, which means that all of our buttons on our website, whether you're using Wix.com or Boostly, shout out to Boostly, great team that we use for our websites, it can change, landscape can change. Whatever you use, you want to make sure that the button, for at least the way we recommend it, is that it's inquiry only. Why? Because I might have a similar listing that is currently being booked as an STR, and if you want to book for the next 6 months, I might move some things around. So everything's an inquiry only status. I don't necessarily want you to come on my website, look at a property and say, oh, unfortunately it's not available, let me move on. No, I always want to give you the opportunity to inquire about the availability first, because trust me, based on the demand, based on the request, based on the length, based on the price, everything is negotiable. So I want to have that conversation. Someone on our team wants to have that conversation before we make a decision, or without letting them make the decision for themselves without having spoken to someone. So we don't integrate our Stripe accounts with our website for that reason. However, because we do have a Stripe business account, we'll then send an invoice that way. And the way it works with Stripe is to send an invoice, it'll store the credit card. We always want to make sure you have a security deposit, processing, taxes, etc. And everyone pays up front before they enter the home. You can give them incentives for booking direct by them saving on fees. They don't have to pay those 13% fees or whatever the number is on those other OTAs such as Airbnb, and you give them an incentive that they can check in early. Typically, if you book on another platform, it's a 3 p.m. check-in, but for this one, it's 12 p.m. Whether you're doing STR at MTR, there's always a way to create an incentive and a bonus, and maybe even give them a return discount, which you're not discounting your price per se, but you're giving them a better price than they would if they booked through an OTA. Let that be the incentive. Let that be the driver. Make sure you do your screening as you should. There's a lot of platforms out there like Avail that's built into, Avail is AVAIL, that's actually built into, from what I understand, Zillow. There's Zillow does background. So just do your due diligence. There's some companies out there, I try not to name drop vendors. I just want to give a little bit of contact, there's so many resources out there. Do your due diligence, do your background if you need to. Make sure you get the ID of the person, make sure you get their details. I like to have an emergency contact. I like to have the security deposit, make it very clear. If you need to have a lease, we always have leases. We do corporate leases, so we have corporate leases. With respect to your situation, do a lease. Just make sure that you're following the guidelines within your state. Keep in mind that someone's staying over 30 days in some states, that's considered they're under tenant laws. Therefore, you're definitely going to want to have a lease in place that protects you and protects them. Not everything is created equal. Not every market is created equal. Like if you have a pool, make sure you have some of those disclaimers with removing all the liability. And again, your best source of protection is always going to be your insurance, right? So that's always going to be a go-to, which you should speak to an insurance agent for that. Not for me. I'm not qualified to give you insurance insights, but make sure that you have protection, because once somebody comes into your home and steps and heads their lay on the pillow, you're officially in the hospitality business, and now you're in commercial real estate as well. So you want to make sure you have that coverage and liability. Otherwise, now you know how you can book someone direct. Keep in mind, very important in every market, do not let a person that's never seen, a person that you don't know, who hasn't been affiliated with your business, walk the property by themselves. That's for safety, that's for liability. Make sure that there's always someone that meets them. Now, I broke that rule recently when I recorded my other video, and you'll see why I broke that rule. And the reason why I broke that rule, you'll see in the video, but you'll also see what I did instead. And you'll have to click the next video to watch. But make sure that you are in a position to always be in control of your business, in protection. And when you book direct, keep in mind the insurance matters. Airbnb always has us protected, but when you book direct, you now have to make sure you have things in order to make sure that you're insured, they're insured, and everyone is covered. Okay. With that said, now you have the tools in your toolbox to be able to book direct. Book direct, help save some families from dire situation that you're dealing with, and stay highly occupied and profitable. If you got value from this video, make sure you check out my other video called Midterm Rental Pro Tip: How to Optimize Guest Bookings with Contracts and Stripe. See you next time.